Radio Zero with Rick and Rose, 2026, Friday, January 2nd.
Not a prime number.
Yeah, 2026 is not a prime number. Was 2025 wasn't either.
No, I just have to announce it.
Okay.
We're live streaming on Facebook, on the Radio Zero page, and on Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJC USA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. Every other Friday, 5 p.m. Central. And then you can listen to us non-linearly.
Asynchronously.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Subscribe. You can subscribe to the podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts. Go to radiozero.us, RSS feed there. You can listen to it directly on the website, too. You can patronize us at patreon.com/RadioZero. Thanks to our Patreon donors. Chris S. upped his donation, actually.
Wow. Thank you.
So thanks.
Yeah. That helps our internet live. What was that?
Yeah, you know what? I just had a moment where there's yet another fiber internet provider showing up in town. Our current provider has been bought by T-Mobile, but then I went and looked at our rate. And this is the second time this has happened to me in multiple weeks.
Yeah.
I went and looked, and we've got the 750, up and down. What would that be? Megabits? Yeah, megabits. Or no. Anyways, and that was $80 a month. And then I looked, and the 500 megabit plan is $60 a month, and the 1 gigabit up-down plan is $70 a month. And so, again, we got grandfathered into paying more. And I don't know when it changed. It may have just been recently when T-Mobile bought this company, but I got so mad. But
so
I just switched over.
Oh, good. How many megabits do we get? Like
I went from 750, which was $80 a month, up to 1 gigabit, which is $70 a month.
So, like, we could watch multiple episodes of Mr. T. Sorry, what is it called? A-Team. The A-Team streaming is going to look so much nicer now. Like when you're watching A-Team.
I don't know how much different it's going to look. And so the thing is we've been doing fine with the 750.
Yeah.
Apparently, which at some point I changed to, I don't know, it was some kind of deal to get a previously when I was going to quit and jump ship. But I've decided not to jump ship yet for the other company, which is offering slightly better deal. But then once the introductory offer expires, then it goes.
And you're screwed.
Which is probably why this other deal, they changed the prices, but somehow neglected, because there is no 750 tier anymore. We're just grandfathered into it, apparently. I don't know.
That's terrible. That happened to you with, are you going to say what had happened to you with the other thing too?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so my GQs, my super to-do list that I've been paying for what, 6, 7, 8 years since 2018? 8 years?
It's been 8 years since 2018.
Yeah.
That's
So
kind of scary.
It's a to-do list that works with Google products like Google Workspace, but is a little more advanced than Google Tasks. And yeah, I got my renewal there, and it said, "Oh yeah, you're for the I don't know, the basic plan or whatever, paid plan," and it was like $50 a year. And then I looked on their site, and it's like that plan is $36 a year. And then I looked back, and it was like they've been charging me for the basic plan since I don't know when, like 2020.
You and
when
like
they
a whole lot
switched
of other people.
They switched tiers. Yeah. So I had a pro plan, $50 a year, right? And then they changed the plans, and I think I got a notification that plans changed. But the thing is that on my receipts for the past 5 or 6 years, it said not the pro plan, which I had been paying for. It said the, basic plan or whatever. But it said $50 for me, right? It's said on all my receipts. They didn't change. They changed the name of my plan to the basic plan, but then still charged me. So I got grandfathered in
to paying more.
To paying more for previous
yeah.
plan, even though what they're calling my plan and what it says on there, hey, you're doing you've got the basic plan now, but we're going to charge you the old price for what you've been paying. We're just going to lock that in. And then, I messaged them and said, can you give me credit, everything like that? And, or, it's like, why is this happening? It's like, oh, we're sorry. We'll you're going to have to cancel your current plan and re-up. And I was like, can you give me a break and everything like that? And they said, we'll give you three more months on the plan. And so now
for free?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
they
All
moved my renewal to March or something. And so now I'm in the process of taking everything out of my GQ's to-do list.
And putting it in your 2018. Did you talk about
Google
that
Tasks.
too?
I've talked about that a number of times.
Yeah.
Where Google, I used to, before I used GQ's, I was using Google Tasks, and Google Tasks, Google shut down Google Tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I switched over to using GQ's. And then a few years ago, all of a sudden Google said, hey, guess what? We're gonna reopen Google Tasks. And then I went into Google Tasks, and all of my to-dos from 2014 were sitting in the shutdown. They had kept all my data. They had shut down the service for 4 or 5 years, but they still kept all my data and then put it back in.
Which
I guess is
it's
a
really interesting.
positive thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, so now it's a nightmare. It's already spinning out. So the capacities, which is my PKM, my personal knowledge management system, capacities.io. I upped to
not
pro.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor at all. In fact, I am now sponsoring them because I started paying for a pro plan with that.
Yeah.
And that has to-dos now in it, but they're not to-dos that go into your calendar. So now I'm moving a lot of my to-dos into project-based to-dos or whatever. They're in capacities, but then I've got my Google Tasks to-dos now for my kind of time-based, regular occurring things like take out the garbage, things like that. And then just today, I think for my school to-dos, my university to-dos, I think I'm going to be putting those into
Outlook?
Outlook
Wow.
to do.
Wow.
So, although the problem with that is that it doesn't show up in the calendar. You can open it up on the side. So those to-dos, I would like them to show up in the calendar. So I may not be doing that, but it's like, that's not good to go to 3 different places for my to-dos.
Do you have different levels for your this is the top personal knowledge base and personal management system rankings of 2025, and what new to use in 2026 by Rick Valentin. Your tasks, what's your thought process? Like, my thought process is, oh shit, I've got a task. I wonder if I'm going to remember how to do that or not, or remember that I have to do that or not. I wonder. And then, then if it's really important and my phone is nearby me, I might write it in my calendar.
The important thing is,
Yeah.
and this is why GQ's was good back in 2018 or whatever, is to have your tasks or your to-dos be time-based. And so it's basically that, to me, what was important was basically your to-dos are in your calendar and vice versa, where you block out time.
So you've got take out the garbage on Wednesday night or Tuesday
night, 7 p.m., right? I have a to-do,
Yeah.
a recurring to-do, and it's like a calendar item, but I can check it off, right? And so
you can check it off, but it's a recurring, and it's on
recurring.
your
It's in
Google
my
calendar.
Yeah. And
It's
so I've moved
Google-
that over
Google
to tasks
Oh.
now, because Tasks does the same thing, and actually in Google Calendar, then you can create tasks. Although there's a slight problem where Google To-Dos tasks, you create them, and by default they're 15 minutes in the calendar, and then recurring tasks, you can't change the amount of time they take, right? So I can't block out more time in my calendar for the tasks. But you can make a non-recurring task in your Google Calendar and have it blocked out to more time. But you can only do that right now. I can only do it in the desktop version of the calendar, where you can create the task and then drag the bottom of it and make it longer, right? So to block out time.
We have a message to you and me. It says, by Chad Twiner. It says, Happy New Year, Rick and Rose. And we'd like to say Happy New Year back to you, Chad.
And everyone.
And everybody. Yeah, Happy New Year. So, and this is going to be our self-help, the best self-help ideas of 2026, just starting now, because, and what we learned in 2025. So you've got to take out the garbage task on Tuesdays. What other tasks? I see that you have a pick up the child from school.
That's
task.
a calendar. That's a calendar item.
Calendar item, not a task. So you don't mark it off. But
no.
Okay.
I mean, in theory, I could.
Yeah.
But
no, there's it's.
But
yeah.
I have that as an event, because then that's going to map into my. So the thing is that I've got my personal calendar, Google Calendar, and then I got my university calendar, right?
Yeah.
My work calendar, which is Outlook, and then my Google calendar overlays into my Outlook calendar.
Right.
And it also, if I put a scheduled event in the Google calendar, it'll overlay into my Outlook calendar and block off that time. So then if somebody's trying to set up a meeting, right?
Mm-hmm. And you have you have to take out the garbage.
Kid.
Yeah,
no,
pick up the
so
kid.
take out the garbage. That's a to-do, because I don't want that to overlay.
Right.
And I don't want somebody to say, oh, I can't schedule a meeting because, well, this wouldn't happen. I take out the garbage at night.
Yeah,
but like if I had 3 p.m. take out the garbage, and that blocked out a half hour on my calendar, and people couldn't schedule a time with me, that's not good. So yeah. Wow. So welcome to nap time.
Oh, no. Okay, so Chad is also asking any resolutions, and then Gabe Daigle says junior citizens with good advice. That's right. We're senior citizens now with good advice. But if you
speak for yourself.
Yeah, if you have some good advice, please write it down. And if you have some New Year's resolutions, put them down.
Write it down, put it in an envelope, and mail it to us.
Mail it to us on a postage card or whatever. Postcard. And let's talk about more personal management systems and
this is like the most boring thing in the world.
No, it's not.
New Year's, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is time-based. So like your to-dos or your kind of action, everything's kind of got to be time-based. Like if you just have to-dos that are just these piles of lists of things to do, right? You look at it and you get overwhelmed. Now, the thing is that, so now what's going on though is I've got capacities, right? And that's where I do all my note-taking.
You got to talk a little bit about capacities. I'm sorry.
So it's like Notion or Obsidian, but it's object-based, and I like it. And so it's basically, you can kind of create notes and link them all together. Right.
So like you're sitting in a meeting, and then the meeting could be an object. I'm in a meeting. I'm in a Senate meeting. And then you can write down all the people who are in that particular meeting. And but the peoples are all objects too.
Yeah,
so then you could take
everything's
notes on
linked
people.
in.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I can link everything together.
But no tasks. But now tasks.
Now they've added tasks, but
there's no calendar.
They don't map into the calendar. Now you can, and then with the pro capacities, you can also link to your calendar, and you can also link to your to-do list. But you can only send to-dos to your to-do list. It's not like a two-way thing. And then the calendar is not two-way either. Like it'll show up, like they have a day view, right? A daily note, and the calendar is there. And so you can have your calendars, and if your to-dos are coming through your calendar, which Google Tasks, some of them do, but not all of them. Only ones that are set up to have a time length. So the recurring ones don't show up.
So tell us a story about like one of your best capacities, like objects. Like what's really working for you? You're like, oh my God, it's right there.
Well, the thing is that you can have different types of objects. Like, what is it? Pages, projects. I built one called classes, right? Which are classes, courses, not, and so I have kind of a standard note format for my, my classes, but like meetings, people, web links, there's just all sorts of different types of things that you can put in. But the reality is now is and this is kind of going back to Zettelkasten, I think, which I probably talked about last year.
I'm sure, but
right?
We may have a different audience.
Just
this year.
atomic units of kind of like now, and so really, the reality is now is that I just basically everything could be a page or an atomic unit of information, right? I don't need to have different types
a special
of
class
objects.
object.
Yeah.
Class object. That's kind of funny. You have a class object.
Yeah, but it's not.
Because
it's
objects
not
are classes.
Yeah, but it's actually...
Little programming joke for you guys there.
And so there are little differences, like the
class
class object has a start date and an end date on it, right? And so it's for the semester, and it's got, I think, a few other kind of like main meta tags, and then, but it's basically just it's kind of note cards.
So when do you write? Like, do you have like each week in the class objects that you know what you're going to teach every week? And
I
stuff?
actually have a page that's like, I create my schedule for the class for the semester. I do that in a page that's linked in.
And you know what you're going to teach every semester, every week?
Well, I do that.
That's freaky to me.
Well, I kind of do, but then it's flexible. I just
Yeah.
map it out.
Yeah.
Like when I do the syllabus and the schedule, right? And so I kind of map out everything. I can't even remember what I call it, but it's like planner. It's like my
And you take
planner.
notes on like if a student is like starts saying, "Oh, I've my dog ate my homework," and then like
I don't take notes on that, but like the students do presentations, so I'm sitting there, they're doing their presentation, I'm in the class note, and then I tag them. I put their name in, and then I take notes on their presentation, right?
And then you grade it later?
Yeah.
Okay. One time I graded just while they were doing the presentations too, but that's hard to do.
So here's the thing that was happening with like GQs is so I'd have my time-based to-dos, right? But then I would also start saving things like, this is a link to a web page that's talking about, some sort of just anything, right? You like notes, right? And so I would make that a to-do. This is HTML and CSS, blah blah blah. Like if it was like work stuff, and then I'd make that a task, and I kind of put it into the category for the class, for instance.
So
so it's in my to-do list, but it's not time-based, and I could put a time on it to remind me to look at it at a certain time, but it was kind of like, this is more kind of like resources stuff, and so now I'm moving all that kind of stuff where it's like notes about things or things to look at. I'm putting those into tasks within capacities, and then you can put them in within the page, within context of whatever. So like when I go to my class page, then I have a to-do that says, look at this website, as opposed to it being in my time-based to-do, so it's sitting there in my calendar saying, hey, look at this website tonight at 7 o'clock. And it's like, that's, not good.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the problem is so GQs, I had a GQs for school, and then I had GQs for the rest of my life. And then I could share the two between the two accounts, and so I could. But now, since I'm switching to Google Tasks, and then since everything I do, maybe I'm going to create. I don't want to create a Google Tasks account. Maybe I could for my school stuff, and then that'll be in the calendar. Ugh. But then I'd have to have that calendar overlay into my Outlook. I would like it to be on the Outlook side is all my school stuff. I'd like my to-dos to be in there, but I also want them to show up in my frickin' calendar, but Outlook doesn't do that. It has a tab.
Yeah.
I can open up my tasks tab or my day tab, and it'll have like the calendar and to-dos kind of interleaved, but I like the to-dos, and I also like being able to block out time, which you can't do with Google or Microsoft To-Do, which is the old Wunderlist. So that was a to-do list. They bought Wunderlist, which is a to-do list that I used, 15 years ago.
If only there was just one solution for everything that worked.
And that's
But-
my thing now is like,
Yeah.
I just have to I need to build a system because I
Mhm.
want a system where like my emails come in too. Those are time-based, right? They're to-dos. They're things you have to respond to. I just want a full object-based system.
And
that's,
you've checked to make sure that there's like Microsoft doesn't do this.
yeah, you have to kind of shoehorn things, and even so the thing is like Notion. In theory, you could build something like this in Notion, right? Because Notion also has email, has an email client and a calendar. But the problem is this Notion isn't object based like this. It's like database. It's like all building databases, and I don't like, even though I do like organizing things within to kind of like lists and everything like that, it's not as connected. It's not this kind of network node model,
Yeah.
object
Yeah.
based model, a graph based. So like in capacities, I've never used it, but you can click this little button and see basically a graph view of all your stuff. So I just did I clicked on the graph view on it's RadioZero. It's my RadioZero note. And all it is a cloud of dates, different episodes, right? And it's showing me this linked map of all the things that are connected, right?
Yeah.
But I don't, but that's the way you organize things, is in that way, as opposed to organizing it in databases.
Yeah, you don't like the rigidity of the database,
Yeah,
even
and
though
it's
you like rigidity. But not
interesting.
That type. Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
moving away too is like I'm looking at, how would I build a system like this? And it's like there's database, regular database stuff, but now people are doing NoSQL or whatever it is, where it's kind of the same idea, where your data is not organized in tables. I think, or it's more cloudy and connected, and it's like, so I'm not a proponent, but I do understand the usefulness of databases, but it's kind of like organizing all these ideas and connections, making all these connections via like tables it's not actually
Once you go
that intuitive.
Once you go object, you can never go back to tables.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, it's really interesting. So that's why I'm not using Notion.
So Chad Twiner has said, I set alarms for everything. Plan ahead
Yep.
for how forgetful you can be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Yeah, I have alarms, and one like about a month ago, I deleted about 10 of my alarms on my phone because they weren't, like 4 of them said like make bread.
And so for me, it's alarms, but I have reminders. So all my to-dos, that's one important integral part of the to-do list
Is
or
the
task
reminder.
list is having
You-
reminders
do
that
you
pop up.
Location-based reminders too.
I don't. Does Google Tasks allow you to do that? And GQs didn't have that, but I was using a to-do list.
Oh, I have an Apple phone, so
Yeah.
those are time-based.
But I actually
to-dos.
feel like now I need to look at Google Tasks and see if it's got, because
Why
years
not?
ago I
Yeah.
was using a location-based
Yeah.
or that would do location-based reminders, which are great, right?
Remember to pick up milk. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And Chad also has, I'm not sure what this means, but it might be a message to us. CDO, OCD, but in alphabetical order, as it should be.
Yeah.
CDO stands for Cordon Giotto.
And so I mean, you've made comments. People make comments that like I might be autistic or have ADHD, and it's like I don't think I do.
I don't think you're
Yeah.
autistic.
Well, so other people have.
Oh.
But it's like no, I'm much more on the OCD side of things, and so it's good, but it's also again doing too much of this like shift, and this is what I used to do every year. So the fact that I used GQs for 8 years is really, I think, was substantial because I honestly before that I would switch once, maybe twice a year. I would
you'd
be
switch
going
a
through
lot.
different organizational methods.
I'm
and
sure there's RadioZero's all about that.
Yep,
Like
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
The-
And then so you stuck with that for 8 years, and then they stole from you. But it's good that they gave you 3 months back. Yeah.
But honestly, it was like, what is it? 36 hours, so it's $14 a year for like 6 7 or 8 years, I was paying.
So much money.
Yeah. It's like,
It's
thank you for being a devoted member or everything
yeah.
like that. We'll give you 3 months. And I was like,
Just terrible. What was I going to say? I'm paying for. My mom asked me if I'm paying for ChatGPT, and I am still. And you probably don't need to anymore, right? But I'm afraid to stop because it gives me good answers most of the time.
like it'll be worse.
Yeah, I
well,
don't
it
know.
is worse, right? You can't get the best, most recent version, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Model.
I don't know. I don't even know if I use the best. But I mean, it's saved my life with cooking. It's really helped me. It's taught me how to cook. It's an aggregator for like all the rules of cooking, right? So it's really, really helpful.
Yeah, I don't like you giving it credit for teaching you how to cook.
Okay. Well, the internet taught me how to cook.
You're saying before ChatGPT, you didn't know how to cook.
Yeah. I wasn't able to cook. I mean, it's so the cooking thing is very hard because you got to decide what to make every night. That's very hard. That's the thing that's hard. And now I just go to ChatGPT and I go, I've got I've got a house full of food, right? We're an ingredients house, as they call them. I've got a house full of food, but there are certain foods that I want to eat. So I'll say I've got a sweet potato, I've got peanuts, and I've got broccoli, and I've got flour. And it knows other stuff that we have too in the house, and it also knows that we're vegetarians. So it'll be like, well, here's 10 different things that you can make. What strikes your fancy? And I'll be like, oh yeah, let's do Indian food with the sweet potato. Okay, well, here are 4 different things you can make. And then I'll be like, well, I don't have green beans. What else can I use? Well, you can use peas.
So that doesn't seem to me to be teaching you how to cook. It seems to be helping you manage.
Well, also
cooking.
no, there's other things that it's taught me too. So I'll take a picture of I took a picture of a lime yesterday. I was like, this lime is like all brown on the rind. Can I still use it? And it was like, yes, this is common bruising on a lime rind, and you can still use as long as it smells okay inside. I do that a lot with vegetables. Can I eat this? No, cut this part out and then you can eat it. Or nope, don't eat that.
And I've watched this video twice. Is Jacques Pepin making omelets? 3 eggs both times, fork, pan, butter, and he's making I don't know what does he call it? A regular omelet and then a French omelet, and it's amazing. And I feel like I learned something from watching that, but I don't feel like reading a ChatGPT.
Oh, that's
thing
so funny.
Would be learning.
Yeah,
I mean,
so for me,
now,
I
if there
can't.
was a generated chef, right, that had stolen all of its work from Jacques Pepin and all the other cooks and Julia Child and every televised, the Galloping Gourmet, every televised, video chef that's existed, right, and then shows you. I guess I could see it that working.
Yeah, and I'm not really. I'm just talking about just making edible food at night. That's.
Yeah, it seems like an assistant, not like teaching you how to cook.
I don't like watching video. My sister likes watching the cooking videos, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I also I remember the other day I said it would make the world so much nicer if the recipes were on top, and then you could jump to the story about how the person came about the recipe.
The thing is I don't watch cooking videos usually. I don't even know how I saw this.
Mm-hmm.
It was because I was looking for the video from 30 years ago. I saw Jacques Pepin. I found out that he was still alive, but we have that story of seeing that Jacques Pepin video.
Oh yeah.
Flying to Europe, and then it's just him,
burying fat and then coming back and
putting sausages in lard and then burying them in a jar and then coming back and then using a pound of butter for everything. Scooping out huge mounds of butter.
On the plane, they were playing
we
this.
were watching this.
We were crying.
And
we were
just
laughing.
going through, and it was just so much fat. And so this was 30 years ago, when it was like, oh, butter's poison, right? But he's like, this is good. And then the final part was, and let's enjoy a cup of coffee. And then he, brews a cup of coffee and then dumps a scoop, like an ice cream scoop sized, scoop of butter into the coffee also. So it was an amazing thing. I think I was trying to find that video, and then it was like, oh no, but here's like 300-year-old. He's still alive. He's in his 80s, I think.
That's so cool.
Him making omelets. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is what my mother would make, and it's like, but then, yeah, it's amazing though. It's like the 2 omelet thing he does. It's literally same ingredients, same pan. He's got a fork. That's all he's using. And he makes the regular kind of curdy omelet, and then he makes this perfectly smooth French omelet.
With a fork?
With a fork.
Yeah.
Like it does, it's amazing.
I have to watch that. That's cool. Chad says, my son showed me a site called myfridgefood.com that gives you recipes for what you have. That's cool. Yeah. See, that's nice. Okay. Well, you want to talk about anything else? What New Year's resolutions do you have?
I don't have New Year's resolutions.
I know you don't do resolutions. Yeah. So what did you start doing last week?
If you're going to change, do something different, just start doing it then.
Yeah.
When you think of it.
So
don't wait.
What have you changed recently? What did you change? Like
frickin' all this to-do list stuff.
Yeah. Did you have any things that you wanted to do more like last year?
There is one, and I also rearranged my studio again.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which is another thing
Yeah.
that I shouldn't be doing. I put it back the way it was a year ago. But it's different. I mean, the things have moved around, and I've been building clouds.
So building clouds is you mean like a sound evaporator, right, for the ceiling.
Acoustic treatment that hangs from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Clouds. Yeah, because the thing is that I have a 140 hertz bump. And it's like,
you should get that removed.
Yeah, exactly. I should. And so I'm trying to get a flatter response in my room, and it's probably a ceiling floor thing, and so I'm trying to reduce it. But the other thing I did is I moved my studio around again back. I have this like room correction software, and you run tests on it, and I looked at the different graphs that have sort of been generated, and it was like, oh, before I moved things around, the room response as is, the natural room response the uncorrected room response was flatter than when I moved it, and then also it was flatter when I had the speakers closer. I moved the speakers farther back to get the perfect equilateral triangle and the perfect distance and everything like that. And then I looked, and I was like, oh my God, the curves of having the speakers in that position were worse. It was more, it was less flat.
How come you don't have a little piece? Steve Albini always had like a little piece of tape with a toilet paper on top of it in front of the speakers. Remember?
NS10s, because I don't have NS10s.
Oh, okay.
Because NS10s are a scourge, a plague on audio engineering.
Not here to
So Steve didn't have. So Steve, I'm trying to remember if Steve had NS10s.
Maybe he didn't.
In the old days.
Yeah.
He must have. Well, he didn't have to, but it was Bryce, I remember, who mixed a couple of our records. He did the tissue over the NS10s. He would also blow up NS10s, and then, so the NS10, I don't want to get into it, but it's that speaker with the white cone on it. It's a Yamaha. Actually,
little black speaker with the white cone.
And what's a weird thing that's going on is I'm starting to feel like I like Yamaha stuff. And so now I'm realizing, NS10s are Yamaha speakers. But they were, the problem, the thing is about NS10s in the 80s, they were kind of standard in all the studios, and I'm trying to remember what mixing engineer used them originally. And so you'd see pictures of them, and they were they were, because they had the white cone.
Right.
If you're
recognize
looking through,
it.
Yeah, audio magazines, bands, and studios, you'd see the white cones, and you go, those are the speakers. And then they were everywhere. By the 90s, they were in every studio, right? It was kind of like the standard. And so you could go from studio to studio, and the NS10s would be there, and they would, so it was kind of like, because you go to different studios, different monitoring systems, it's going to sound different. You have to calibrate yourself. But if you have the speakers that you're familiar with these standard speakers, but they sound awful. They're awful sounding. I mean, that's kind of the point. Is like they're mid-rangey. Also, the highs. The treble is really like for me. I'm really treble sensitive.
That's why people
like
put the
razors.
toilet paper on
So
top
that's why
of them?
people
Right.
put tissue in front.
But they
of
sound bad because
tweeters.
then you really have to work hard to get it to sound good, and then they're going to sound good on any other.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's a weird.
Is the idea is if you can make them sound good on NS10s, it'll sound good everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's kind of true. The reality is that mid range is the hardest area to get right and to clean up, and so they're just really mid-rangey and upper mid-rangey, and so it's good for sculpting that. The other thing is that just because they were ubiquitous, people got used to them, and so that it's not that they're good even that they're good and making music that translates. No, you got used to it. In fact, I'm trying to remember, one of the engineering guys said, oh yeah, like if the guitars sound really, really sharp and cutting, right? That means they're good, right? It's like you adjusted to the way they sounded.
Yeah.
You didn't go, oh, I'm going to make the guitar sound great, right? It was like, oh no, the guitars have to sound really, really, kind of fizzy and cutting. That's where it'll sound good and translate well. And so it wasn't. I would say it's not even that people, that just by their construction they were good reference monitors. It was that people used them and adapted to them, right?
How much were they?
They're, I don't know, 4 or 5. I don't know what they are. And now you can't. Yamaha doesn't make them anymore. That's the thing, is Yamaha makes speakers that have white cones on them to have that kind of cachet, right? But they're not the same. And people say, "Oh, these are great too," but they're shittier. But other people make knockoffs of these, and I'm trying to remember how much. Not knockoffs, they make recreations, right, of old school NS10s, and I don't know, they cost like $1,000 a pair or something like that. But no, yikes is not. That's not much. But then, what's the other? Oh, Steve did have them in the studio in electrical. He had a pair of NS10s in the back at the couch
where you'd sit, yeah,
and listen, and that was disheartening, because he was playing some not even a mix, like tracking and everything like that, and then my voice actually sounded better on the NS10s, and it was like, oh great, I'm the only person in the world whose voice sounds better on NS10s, right? These shitty, awful speakers. It's like, like whatever an NS10 does to the sound, whatever its curve is, it's like, oh, I sound good on these.
So speaking of curves, to 120 hertz, where does that lie? What's the bump? And that means that you get too much of it automatically.
It's actually there's a peak and then there's a dip, and so that indicates a room node, but a lot of times that's the floor. Like, so sound bouncing off the floor, and then you get a phase kind of cancellation and boost. But usually, if you've got your mixing board and stuff, then that's not it could be bouncing off of that, but I think it's a ceiling thing, and so I'm putting clouds in the ceiling.
So, but what's 120 hertz? What node is it? Where is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Where range?
Well, 440 is concert.
Oh, so it's
A.
lower. All right, so it's bass.
It's low mid range.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not quite bass yet. That's the thing.
No.
It's like at the very end of kind of like mid range.
Yeah. So 440 is an A. So is 220 a lower A?
Yeah.
So this is like a lower A. This is kind of right.
It is a pretty low.
It's probably like. Yeah, maybe it's like around a C or a B or an A. Yeah, maybe it's a middle C. I don't know. We could look it up. Okay.
Way too much like
now
Rick nerd talk. Yeah, this is all boring Rick tech talk.
Well, what would be the opposite of that? What should I talk about now?
Well, you talked a little bit about cooking.
Yeah.
So that's
good. There you go. Okay. All right. Good.
Should I need to?
Yeah, both of them. Loud.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
Could talk about the top 2 news words for the
Yeah,
year.
can you do that? That would be great. So let's do an introduction to that. That's also some college work, right? Or was it? Were you?
Yeah, I think I did that in grad school.
Yeah. We did our best work in grad school, our best artwork.
Yeah, but we were old. So
yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
true. That's true. Yeah. Uh-huh. And Chad says he loves the nerdy stuff. So this is a really cool project that Rick did. And did you get an A on it?
Did I get an A on
Yeah.
it?
Did you get an A?
It was
Who?
grad
What?
school.
What class was
I
it for?
did get an A- from someone once in grad school.
Was it Jenny Gunji?
No. It's no one you would remember.
Was it Dietmar?
No one you would remember.
How would I not remember that? In grad school.
I can't remember who it was. It's
Or was
one
it
of those fly by night. No, one of those professors that I don't think was there for very long.
Oh.
Anyways,
Linda Robino?
no. I don't think I ever
Ernie?
had crit with her.
There was somebody named Ernie.
Yeah, I had Ernie.
She loved you, Linda Robino.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever had her in critique.
Was
Just like
this
maybe
U
grad
of I
critique.
grad talk circa 2001. Okay.
I did have Ernie. Like what was it called? Where it wasn't an independent study, was it?
It was the crit, right?
No, but
you had
you'd
an
have
independent-
you'd be talking to a faculty about your work,
Yeah.
kind of one-on-one.
Yeah.
Definitely did that for a semester with Ernie. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Did
no.
you ever cry in grad school?
Did I cry in grad school?
From a critique?
No.
Did you get upset?
Sure.
Yeah, but you didn't cry?
No.
You have no feeling.
No, I don't think I cry
Do
about
you
that
remember
kind of
what
stuff.
do you remember what you got upset about in grad school art class?
That A-.
What was it on? What'd you do wrong?
That was on like critique for the year or like a semester.
Man. God.
It was like I'm like,
Is it because you didn't do something or somebody just didn't like your
well, the
work?
perception. I think there was a perception, and then that's stuff I got frustrated with, like where I rebuilt a whole system, and then it was like this is the same as what you did last
Did you
semester.
rebuild like a computer system thing?
I
Oh,
rebuilt
okay.
this whole thing, and it's like this is the same
Yeah. but
thing. This is what you did last semester. I was like, well,
there was not a lot of knowledge of
yeah,
computer stuff.
I guess, but
yeah.
I spent a huge amount of time.
So you can't tell us what it was that you rebuilt though?
I don't know. It was one of the shredding things or something.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is top 2 news words.
Yeah, it's just
What is it?
It's just a project that originally it just scraped RSS feeds. So that's what's interesting is RSS feeds still exist, although they are winnowing down, right? So news RSS feeds every hour would process all of these news feeds and find the 2 most common words.
And the news feeds did you have any right-wing news feeds?
Yeah, Fox. I think Fox is still in there.
Yeah. How many about do you have?
It's gone down from, I don't know, I think I had like 20 or 25, and it's probably down to 10 or 15. That's slowly, like USA Today got rid of their RSS feed. I don't know, maybe 5 or so. So there was kind of like a culling. There was a lot of RSS feeds disappeared, but there's still some old school ones still cranking away.
And you go through and you count what are the top 10.
I don't go through the
Well,
algorithm.
yeah,
it
you
just
don't, like,
scrapes,
the
parses the
algorithm
RSS
scrapes.
feed
Yeah.
and then counts up the top words used.
And it happens every hour, right?
Yeah, it does it every hour.
And so somewhere there's a website that it presents it on, right?
Yeah, I have an RSS feed
yeah,
actually too,
okay.
but then also a web page. But originally it would connect to a dot matrix printer that had a continuous sheet, right? Those old school with the dots on the side, right?
Yeah.
And it would just run every hour. It would print out a word pair, and so then you'd get this long sheet printing out scroll of the words, top 2 news words for each hour, and over the course of a year, it'd be 8,000.
And then you count at the end of the year, you count up which are the top 2 news words, and you
for the year.
Yeah, and you've noticed certain and so the top 2 news words for 2025 are
Trump and tariffs.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. And then you can compare. Do you know the ones from last year?
Oh crap!
And
I
there
should
are
look at.
also there. Yeah, yeah. While you're looking it up, there are also like trends that you can notice from this. That
Kind of, yeah.
yeah, that you like told
Oh,
you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
last year it was Trump Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Still, 2023 was Trump Biden. 2022 Trump Ukraine. 2021 COVID Biden. So that was the only year in the past 10 years that Trump was not in the top two. So and not even and wasn't in number one. So 2020 was Trump coronavirus. 2019 was Trump trade. 2018 was Trump trade. Interesting. 2017 Trump president. 2016 Trump Clinton. 2015 Clinton China. Yeah, so in 2016 when Clinton 2015 Clinton was the number one word and China was number two, but then 2016 Trump was number one and Clinton was number two, and then Trump won. And it was like, ooh. And that same thing kind of happened with Obama. Yeah, so Iraq, Bush in 2007, but then 2008 was Obama, Iraq. And so it kind of follows a pattern wherever whatever candidate is first. Although Biden, so that's the thing, it's 2021. So COVID was number one, and then Biden was number two.
Yeah, I still think that's if you got more stories about COVID than Trump.
And so 2020 was the election year, and it was
Mhm.
Trump coronavirus, and that is the thing is Trump didn't win in 2020.
Yeah.
Biden won, but Biden was not the top in there.
But
So
yeah,
then you could say, oh well, that's why.
that's
Because
why
COVID and
yeah.
coronavirus,
Yeah.
we're at the top. That's who won.
That's who
in
won,
2020,
and
right?
whoever. Yeah, like so the fact that the fact that the president wasn't named in the top 10 meant that he wasn't gonna win. Like Trump wasn't named in the top
two.
top two. Sorry, yeah. I think it's pretty amazing. You know, and you know, do you tweet this?
I don't tweet it anymore. So it used to be. It used to post on Twitter every hour, but I removed this from Twitter
Yeah,
a
I
couple
heard the
years ago.
Pod Save America guys talking about like not going on Blue Sky and going on Twitter, like staying on Twitter.
Yeah.
People are like, how dare you not go on Blue Sky? And they were just like, it's too small and there's not enough variety. You don't get the full world of shit. I think I was falling asleep while I was listening to it. I need to re-listen to it.
And so after Trump and tariffs,
Yeah.
the remaining top 10 are Epstein, number 3,
Wow.
Gaza,
Number
4, Texas, number 5. I need to check that. Something happened in Texas, right? Lots of stuff happens in Texas. Shutdown, and then Kirk, and then shooting. So that's interesting. Is Kirk above shooting, even though... So typically, when you have a word like shooting, I mean, it'll piggyback on whatever at the event. So
whatever
Kirk
was
shooting,
shot.
but usually shooting would be higher up because Kirk, like there'd be other shootings.
So
right?
okay, yeah.
And so,
yeah.
but apparently there's more mentions of
Kirk.
Charlie Kirk than just a shooting, right?
That's
Which is
Trump,
true.
Trump
right?
effect.
It's his wife too,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Iran, that's from earlier in last year, right? Iran was important for a while, right? It's weird that Iran's kind of fallen off of the radar lately.
Yeah.
And then Supreme, which is Supreme Court. So
wow.
Supreme. And then last year, 2025 started. The first pair of the year was Trump Carter. So that was right after Jimmy Carter had died. And then it ended with Trump National, as in National Guard, because there was all that news on the 31st about how he's not going to be able to deploy the National Guard.
God, it's fascinating. I just think it's fascinating. The top 2 news words.
Yeah. So tariffs beat out Epstein for number 2, but it was close. I should look. When I do the number crunching, I get get a number on how many times Epstein was mentioned compared to tariffs, but
So that
it's got to
means-
have been close.
Yeah, and so what does that mean? What's the narrative on that? Pretty obvious, right? Anytime it's brought up that, oh, what about the Epstein files? All of a sudden there's tariffs to make us money, and the tariffs are going to make us money and stuff like that. It's weird, man.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's really cool. I'm so, like, do you ever feel like putting it back on Twitter though?
No.
It just because you hate Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a better place that I can post hourly, and that's the problem. Well, okay. So I had a problem with Twitter, but they also, their API, they started charging. So I had a if this then that or something like that, where it was every time the RSS feed was updated, it would post on Twitter. But then Twitter, Elon started charging extravagant amounts for the API, right? Connecting.
Just even
And
using the API, the Twitter, like sometimes I use that in class and it was a pain.
Yeah. So and I had used something earlier else, but then I was using if this then that, and if I wanted to post to Twitter, I'd have to pay. So I didn't want to. But if there's another place, I don't know if I can. Yeah, Facebook. I don't want to, create that much noise to post every hour.
Yeah,
Twitter was good for posting every hour, but
and like the thing is, like the granularity of once a day, I feel like is not as interesting as once an hour, but once a year is more interesting. And I suppose once for like the you know what I mean, like the most, like if you totaled up everything for an entire day, I don't think that'd be that exciting.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like right after, so January 1st, 1 a.m., or actually I think it probably would have been 12 a.m., it switched to Trump Mamdani.
Oh yeah, because he got sworn in. That's
so
exciting.
So it was Trump National at the last hour of 2025, and the first hour of 2026 it was Trump Mamdani.
That's awesome.
It's Mamdani's been pretty, and now it's Trump Major. I don't know what that is, and then Trump Takeout. What's going on? Trump Swiss. So the Swiss thing I thought was going to come up more.
Like a fire, right?
Yeah.
Or shooting.
That
or
happened.
or
That's just
fire,
today.
Yeah.
Or actually, let me look. Yeah, but it's back to Mamdani as of this hour.
That's cool. So, like, I love this man. I mean, I know I heard, like, so again, like all my news comes from Pod Save America, but they one of those guys talked to my hero JB Pritzker, and I talked about this before, like, and he was saying, don't follow, like, just I think everybody, there was some kind of there was some kind of critique. I can't remember what it was, but I think the Mamdani thing. I watched. I haven't watched any video of him. I just saw the picture with Bernie Sanders swearing him in on the Quran. Like, what's better than that for 2026? And then I think he said something like, "I'm going to be uncompromising." I'm going to be what is this, Democratic Socialist? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He says I'm going to adhere to this. And they had AOC there, and it was just like so. It was like, and they're all younger than 80 years old, which is also kind of neat. Except for Bernie, I guess he's like honorarily younger than 80. But what did you think about that? What did you make of that?
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Sorry, I was looking up. I was trying to figure out why this top two news, this word was showing up.
What word was it? National
Takeout
or takeout?
And then major. And now I'm looking at my.
Is it like a sports ball thing or something, or did you make a mistake?
Yeah, no. Sometimes what happens is like a news outlet will start adding in like advertising or something into their RSS feed, and all of a sudden this word will start popping up because they've said it. So I'm just checking, and now I'm also looking at my WordPress, and I have 2 headers on my pages, and I don't know why. I must have goofed something up in my template.
Okay, you got 5 minutes left.
More nerd talk.
Yeah. Don't goof up your template.
What else? We could talk about movies. We could talk about Howie Klein.
Yeah, let's talk about Howie Klein. I
Okay.
didn't make any kind of post about him at all. And, you know, I have him like kind of like some of my memories conflated him with Seymour Stein.
We only met Seymour Stein once.
So the story, like, so where did we meet him? Were we in
So
his office?
Seymour was in New York.
Okay.
So we went
Yeah.
to his office right either before we signed. So yeah, that would have been where Joe McEwen was. Joe McEwen was in New York.
And he was our A&R guy.
Right. And so that might have been before we signed.
Okay.
We visited, and then the thing is you got part of the, you know, when they were fating, is that right? When they're, you know, trying to get you to sign to the label, you know, you got to go talk to Seymour Stein.
Right. Yeah.
It's like one of the rounds.
And he told us, you know, you guys sound like the Ramones, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he'd signed the Ramones. So
Yeah, and I
you were pissed
wrote
off.
about that. Well, disappointed.
Yeah, because
It's
you
like I
wanted to sound like the
s-
Talking Heads.
Yeah, if he was going to reference the band, it's like, oh, okay, you say that to everybody, but it's like, okay, whatever. But it was still neat to meet Seymour Stein. But yeah, no, Howie was in L.A., and we saw him a lot more.
He
We saw
was
him.
really sweet to us. He really believed in us. There wasn't anything he could do for us because, you know, we're not really commercial enough to you know, we didn't play any kind of game at all. Like we didn't, you know.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because he was great, and so if you've seen the Wilco movie, you know, he's in that, and so basically Howie, was he was running Reprise, but within Warner Brothers, and so if you've seen the Wilco movie, he basically when Howie left, then David Kahn came in, and David Kahn, who worked with Howie. Do you know that?
Yeah.
They
Yes.
ran that record label.
Yeah.
David Kahn was the A&R engineer guy, and Howie was running the record label. Romeo Void, not the Motels. Romeo Void, that Howie ran the record label. David Kahn took over, did he even take Howie's place? I can't remember whose place he took, but David Kahn. Yeah, and
we didn't
and then
sign with
everything-
him. Like we
Everything.
this is in my book. Like we were courted by was Columbia or Sony?
Yeah.
Sony, and so we met David Kahn too.
And so anyways,
Yeah.
so like with Warner Brothers, like when what's his name's dad left.
Joey Waronker.
Lenny and Mo
Yeah.
left and went to what DreamWorks, right? Things started changing at all the Warner Brothers labels, and then Howie left. And then it all changed, right? And that's all the stuff that happened with Wilco. That's the changes. So, and Howie's in the movie, and yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, musician friendly, you know, supportive. And so Howie was that guy. Loved music, loved you, you know.
Carried my bass off the stage like some Lollapalooza, like the one in
big Rose fan. And then and the thing is,
Gay Men Love Me.
Yeah, and then the unfortunate thing was there was that time where we were talking to him about like, you know, why is the record not
How come we're not
being
famous?
promoted? And it wasn't
how
that.
come you're
It
not
wasn't even
promoting
that.
a record?
It was more like, you know, why aren't we on the alternative radio stations and things like that? And I think was that the time where he had to get up and walk out because he was kind of overwhelmed because he was a, you know, loved music, loved musicians, loved bands and everything like that, but then he was also doing the executive thing, and we were kind of talking to him about business stuff, manager stuff, right? And it seemed like he got overwhelmed. Like, it's like, I can't talk to the band about this stuff. This is you talk to the manager about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt bad, but it was an interesting moment where it was just kind of like he kind of got overwhelmed because it was like, this is, I can't talk to you about this stuff. But he would talk to us about it.
Yeah, he did.
But it was kind of
but he felt bad, like, you know,
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of money. There's only a certain amount of time. You know, like radio. You know, radio playlists are finite, They can't just keep playing anything they want. There's a finite amount of space. There's a certain amount of records, and then certain ones would get pushed and other ones wouldn't, because you can't push all your records. So, that's why, when you sign to a major label, you're supposed to have a manager, and we had managers, but
It's just
we
would also,
we knew a little bit too much.
When you come in and the band comes into the meeting with the exec, it's supposed to be,
hey, how's it going? Oh, you guys are fantastic.
And
oh,
he
wonderful.
he wasn't that kind of guy.
No.
That's the thing, is he was great. It was obvious that he was a person who loved music and loved, alternative music. I mean, he was really, involved with the Ramones early on, before he and it was, wrote for magazines and stuff. He was not a and ran a record label, but was not, like a sleazeball executive. And that was the thing, is that was what was appealing about like Reprise and Sire and Warner Brothers, is they were more artist friendly, right? And so he was representative of that. But yeah, it was a little it was a little too much. And there was the time when he called up K-Rock, right? The alternative station, kind of powerhouse in LA, to ask, will you play this record, to show us, to try. It was amazing and interesting, but also very humbling. Where it was like, I can't remember what the K-Rock, the program director, said, but
no,
it wasn't. No, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, we're already playing this and that. It was just business stuff. Seeing the sausage, and this is what we knew. We knew that there were only so many. Yeah, and in fact, it might have been during filter time, and so it might have been that where it was just like, oh, well, we're doing this filter. We're playing this filter record. It was like kind of like your label's slot, right?
Yeah,
it was like
Filter was on the same label as us, and the record came out at the same time. We may have even insisted that we put the record out. They may have even said like, we want to delay it so we can push Filter. Is it possible that we did that too? And we were like, no, we don't want to delay the record. We're going on tour.
Yeah.
We're going on Lollapalooza. And then when we were in Lollapalooza, they had like little tents with records on sale, and our record wasn't there. Filter was, and Filter was being played. So we were upset, but
but that wasn't Howie. Yeah.
No,
so
it wasn't.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
So what else about Howie? Well, yeah, and he was really active, politically active, and free speech and a lot of that stuff. And then
I can't remember.
He loved the song Roe versus Wade. And it was on a compilation.
Song Roe versus Wade.
He did a couple of Just Say Roe. A couple of compilations.
And
Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade. A long time ago, abortion was legal.
That's right.
It was kind of hard to believe that they would take that away. And let's see what else. I think I wrote about him a little bit in my book, but I don't really remember what I wrote now.
He had done that whole, like, I don't know if we had talked to him about it, probably because we had gone, but this would have been later after.
Are you talking about Tibet?
Tibet, yeah. I mean, he was like early 70s,
totally.
late 60s, like going through Tibet and Nepal. And
I talked to him to find out how to get to Tibet. He gave me all the pointers and everything.
Yeah, because he had gone back later too, but had done that whole thing.
You go to Kathmandu first. I probably had notes on it.
Yeah.
He taught us how to get to Tibet. Yeah. So like kind, wonderful, wonderful soul, and he just passed away recently.
Yes,
and he was sick. So, but just wonderful guy. I think I asked him when I was applying for the job here at ISU. I think I asked him for a recommendation, and he gave me one, like a recommendation letter.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
no reason to talk about other movies or anything like that.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we don't have to.
We can let that slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Happy New Year, everybody. you don't have a New Year's resolution. You're just going to do the right thing always and continue to keep doing it.
No, I mean, I just don't.
Yeah.
I try to.
Yeah.
If I have something I feel like I need to do, I
You're not
don't
gonna
wait
wait
until
till-
the new year. I don't
yeah.
use the new year as my sort of incentive or deadline or whatever.
Yeah. You know what? I had my New Year's resolution. One of my New Year's resolutions last year, I think, was to drink more tea, and I've accomplished that. The bar was low.
Good job. Yeah.
The bar was low.
Yeah. So do easy resolutions.
It wasn't that easy. All right.
Tea is awful. All right.